And when it says for the newspaper, it says to attract customers, you may advertise your products or services in a newspaper. The purpose is to increase your sales. The cost of advertising depends on several factors. The circulation of the newspaper, what day of the week you want to run the advertisement, when the advertisement is in color or black and white, the amount of space it uses. The amount of space is figured in column inches. Generally, newspapers charge a certain rate for each column inch. Some newspapers offer a reduced rate if you contract annually for a specified number of column inches or if you run their ad repeatedly.
So, let me back up. If you purposely make your ad black and white,
It is cheaper.
really,
Yes.
even this day and age.
Yes.
Wow.
In a newspaper, if your ad is black and white, it is cheaper.
I thought you were talking about TV.
No. Newspaper. Okay? So in the newspaper ad, the ad cost is figured out by taking the number of column inches multiplied by the rate per column inch. That's how it's done. Okay, now, depends on when the ad is ran. If you run an ad Monday through Friday, it's cheaper than if you run it on Saturday and Sunday. Okay? So if you run an ad, like a lot of times if you look at the front page of the paper, if you turn it over, inside there's a lot of business people that put almost like business card size. Okay? On there it gives them like what they do and then contact information and usually like a picture of them or something to cover the cost for that. Because it's a lot of paper. Okay? So on Monday through Friday, those are usually black and white, and they don't cost as much. Saturday starts to get a little bit more because some people just buy the paper for Saturday and Sunday only. And Sunday is more expensive because a lot of the ads that go in there, like the big ads, like for your Targets and your Walmarts and stuff like that.
Yeah, mostly.
And the coupon circular too. So if you look at page 564, they have a chart at the top of the page. That's the chart that you're going to use to help you figure out your answers. Okay? So here's how it works. It says for numbers 1 and 2, it says complete the problems, blah, blah, blah. Use the advertising rates at the figure 17.3, which happened to be at the top of the page, which good job for them to actually put it in the right spot this time. You don't have to flip back and forth. Find the advertising cost for the carpet store. The carpet store has contracted for 1,000 inches per year. So if you look at that chart, find where it says 1,000 inches per year. Where's that at? About the third one down, right? Okay. It says, an advertisement for number 1, an advertisement in the Sunday paper, so that's going to make a difference, is 12 column inches. So when I go over there, if you look at the top of the chart, it says the daily news advertising rates per column inch. And I'm at 1,000 inches per year. What is it for Sunday's rate? What's the number does it say for Sunday? $36.89. And I'm taking up 12 inches. So what's $36.89 times 12? $442.68. That's number 1. From the top of on the top of page 564, Dennis, there's a chart. Okay? It says that they contract 1,000 inches per year, and they were dealing with Sundays.
Oh.
So that's how they got that. Okay? All right. Number 2, an advertisement in the Saturday paper is 10 column inches. So Saturday paper, and you're at 10 inches. So we're at the same line, 1,000 inches per year. Saturday's multiplying number is what? 2927. And you're dealing with how many inches for this space? How many inches are we taking up? 10. Right. So what's $29.27 times 10? $292.70. Okay? That is how you're going to do the first part of the assignment. On page 564, that 1 through 9, that's how you do the whole thing. On 3 through 7, they give you a chart where A is figuring out from the top chart what is the rate per column inch, and B is when you multiply the number of inches times by that number. So looking at number 6, for instance, it says the annual contract in inches is 50,000. So 50,000 on that top chart is the very bottom line. Then it says that they are doing Saturdays. So if I look at Saturday, and it says that we're doing 120 column inches. For Saturday's paper, in the 50,000 range, what's the multiplying number? Yep. Yep. 19.82. Thank you, Tristan. And you're doing an ad that has 120. So what's 19.82 times by 120? By the way, this is part A for number 6. And whatever you get here. How much? 378.4?
Yep.
Okay. Now, just so that you guys know, if that's not, that's how these things work. You take out an ad and mine it daily. That's what's going to happen. Ryan Chevrolet, for instance, over the last few weeks have spent a lot of money taking out full-page ads. That's quite a bit of column inches, isn't it? Okay, they're taking up a whole lot of space. And you know what they were doing? Congratulating the boys hockey team, the girls gymnastics team, and the boys basketball team for winning state. That's all they did. But they spent a lot of money to do that. Why would a company do that? Why would they advertise that for the local teams?
To support the town, basically.
Okay, to support the teams and support the town, but why? Why would you do that as a business? The other day, after I got done teaching last night, I drove to Qdoba. On my way to Qdoba and back, I saw on like 3 different billboards, congratulations 2015 state champs. Saw one at McDonald's and I saw one at the bank right around the corner by Marketplace Foods. Why?
Why for 2 weeks though? It's just.
But still, why would a business do that? Like Dennis said, to show support. Why would you want to do that though? To show support? Is it maybe to gain more customers? To say, hey, we care. If you have a business that cares about the people around you,
We care about your son and daughters, so come here to eat.
yeah, hey, that's what it takes sometimes. Is just by showing that. Okay. So anyway, that's how you do the newspaper. That was number 6. Okay, those are all like that. TV is a little bit different. When you're dealing with TV, it's the cost of running a 10-second ad. And then there's a cost of a 60-second ad. But the formula for the cost of a 10-second ad is half times the cost of a 30-second ad. If you haven't noticed, most television commercials are 30 seconds long. Right? Have you guys noticed that? Most. I say most because at certain times in the year, some of them are longer. there's a certain time, usually the first weekend in February, where the commercials end up being a minute.
How do these drug commercials get a 2-minute block though? What are you talking
They
about?
pay for it.
It's ridiculous though.
Yeah, that happens. But the one that I'm referring to is probably one of the TV shows that's most watched in the world every year.
I think this is a ridiculous fact though. The stuff they say about the drug on TV can be said by the doctor. So they have less time, less money spent, and you can put more commercials down and make everybody happy, except putting a 2-minute block on why you shouldn't use this drug and why you shouldn't use this drug.
Yeah.
That's how I understand it.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, anybody know what event I'm referring to? That happens one time a year? Super Bowl. The Super Bowl ads, the commercials. That's a lot of money for those. If I remember right, the last time I had heard, it was like 2.5 million or somewhere in that vicinity per 30 seconds. So in these places like Budweiser and whatnot that take out the minute ads, they're paying $5 million just for that space. Okay? Why? Because they want you to buy their stuff. Right. Doritos is another big one, right? What were some of the other ones? Pepsi? Don't they usually have a big stake in it too? Okay. Budweiser? Some car ones, yeah. I think Chrysler had a couple of them. Didn't they have one year with M&M driving around in a 300M? I think, if I remember right. But still, all that stuff is based on these formulas. When we go cost of a 60-second ad, they take 2 times the cost of a 30-second. So if it was 200 or 2.5 million for 30 seconds, if I times it by 2, those Super Bowl ads that go for 1 minute long, they're paying $5 million just for that one time. Okay? So what happens if I'm a marketing director for Budweiser, for instance, and I have 5 commercials, each of them a minute long? How much money am I shelling out just for those? That's just for the airspace. That is not for any of the production of the commercial itself. That's $25 million just for it to air. That has nothing to do with it being produced, which could be how much more, right? Exactly. You could be spending a lot of money on that stuff. Okay? One of the teachers in the district actually had a son that was in some of those Super Bowl commercials here not too long ago. For the Doritos one, Mr. Rylander, his son has been in some of those commercials for Doritos the last couple of years, or has produced them and made them. Okay? It's a lot of money being shelled out. But if you look on the page 566, it says a 30-second commercial costs $9,000. That was for a 30-second commercial. Find the total cost of 4 60-second commercials. Okay? That's what you want to know. The one part that I've noticed over the years of doing this assignment, you guys will screw it up only because you will not multiply it by 4 at the end. When we talked about the scenario of Budweiser, for instance, and let's say they had 5 commercials and we said it was 25 million because we took 5 times 5, right? So what has to happen on this one? It says for every 30 seconds you have $9,000. But I'm running 60-second ads. So I got to times it by 2, which is 18,000, and as Dennis has already said, now I got to times it by 4 because there's 4 of them. Right. What's 18,000 times 4? 72,000. So that means for my company, whatever I'm selling, if I ran 4 60-second ads this weekend how about last weekend during the Class B boys basketball tournament, which in this state a lot of people watch, it would have cost me $72,000. Now, that's a lot of money to be shelled out, but what is happening in that time is that I'm also hoping to then earn customers. Charchenko's custom boxes needs to make money. I shell out $72,000 in ads, but I'm hoping to make millions off of it. Is $72,000 then worth it? I hope so. Now that they know that I have a custom box business. Okay? Number 2 says 30-second ads cost $35,000. Find the total cost for 4 30-second ones and 5 10-second ones. Okay? How much is a 30-second commercial worth?
35,000.
Absolutely.
35,000 divided by 3.
Hold on. First thing that I need to know is I need to know what 4 times 35,000 is because I'm making 4 of those length commercials. So what's 4 times 35,000? 14,000? More than that. 140. You're missing a decimal. Or a 0. Okay? Now, Dennis, you made a comment about taking it times by or divided by 3. Not the case in this. They don't think of it as, and I know what you're doing. You're saying that there are 10 or 3 different 10-second ones to make one 30-one. And I get that, but that's not how it works for these. When you run a 10-second commercial, it's always half as much as what the 30-second was. They don't do a 15-second. It's either 10, 30, or 60. So when you do a 10-second ad, you are half the cost of a 30-second ad. So the first thing that I need to do in order to get this one is I need 5 times, I need to figure out what half of 35 is. So what's half of 35,000? $17,500, and I'm running 5 of those. So what's 17,500 times 5? 87,500. So I had 140,000 with the 30-second ads, and I had another 87,500 with the 10-second ads. So how much is my total bill to KXMC for running my ads? $227,500. Do you think that happens? Do you think it costs that much? Yep, if not more. Just so that you guys know that. Okay? Remember, this book was published like 10, 11 years ago. These numbers are small compared to what they probably are now. Right? Now, the other thing that matters, just so that you guys know in real advertising dollars and whatnot, it matters when you air them. If I take out ads that are only going to air on non-prime time television, which means like during the day when nobody's watching, that's going to cost less than me running it at prime time, which is from like 6 to 11. Mm-hmm. Daytime is, during the day, Dennis. So up till like 6 o'clock roughly or whatever it says. And then prime time is from like 6 to 11. Did I say that?
Yeah.
Oh. That's okay. So anyway, during the day is not usually as expensive as it would be at night. Because more people watch TV at night than they do during the day. Even when I watch on-demand stuff. Last night, because one of the episodes of Counting Cars that I watch went pixelated when I recorded it, so I had to watch it on demand. They have ads inside those too. Just so that you know that, so that way when you watch an on-demand thing, there's an ad that runs through there because they have to make money somehow. All right? When we watch the episode of Undercover Boss on Netflix, you notice how they take out the ads? Right? But you also pay for the Netflix account, don't you? Those of you that have Netflix, you know that it costs, what is it, $7.99 a month? For for up to 2 devices at a time.
Oh, that's like 8.
If you have up to 3 devices playing at one time, it's 25. Okay?
It's good, even with that. Let's just take Jake from State Farm, that answers money for all.
Okay?
If they make money doing that ad, and they attract customers, will rates go down because of that?
No. Oh no. The rates don't go down just because they ran that ad for, what, almost 2 years now? Or more? Okay? I think they've got their money's worth out of Jake. Okay? But their rates are not gonna go down just because they've made more money. The rates, when they do insurance rates and whatnot on you, it's based on all the age and whatnot like that. Remember we talked about that last semester?
Yeah.
But then if you get in an accident, all they do is they jack up your rates to compensate for that money. That's what happens. Yeah, I know. So, anyway, that's how the TV stuff works. If you're a 60-second ad, you got to times the 30-second by 2. If you're a 10-second ad, you got to divide it by 2. And then don't forget to multiply it by how many commercials you're making. That's important. Okay? So, here's what it is. The first one was on 564, and that was 1 through 9. And then the second part of it is 566 to 567, 1 through 11. Those are only 20 questions, which we've handled that before. Not that big a deal. Okay?